It's pathetic.
Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
That is the weirdest thing you have ever said.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we always love having him on the program. He is Tim Murray. He runs the Bravo Zulu House. 1 and 2's coming, and he's got a special guest with us today. Tim, thanks for being here.
Good morning, Al.
Good morning to you. Would you like to introduce our guest, your guest, my guest, the guest?
Yes, this is retired Major General Maureen Banovich. She prefers to go by Mo, but those of us who are respectful and envious of her accomplishments like to call her General. So welcome, Mo.
General, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can we throw out just to kiss up a little bit to you and give you the credit you deserve? You have received a lot of awards, but you're a Bronze Star medal winner, as well, right?
Yes, I have had the distinct, humbling honor throughout my career to get to work around a lot of really great folks and have some pretty interesting opportunities. Yes, so I got to serve in Iraq back when it was pretty rough.
Mr. Murray, you hear an answer like that, what do you think? Like, what kind of answer? Say, yes, I've got awards because I did great stuff. The opportunity to participate with a lot of great people is a great way of putting that, General. Give me your background. How did you decide you wanted to get in? How did you get into the service? How long were you in? I believe you started in 91.
Correct. Yeah. And actually, my dad was my inspiration my dad was never in the military. He had a lot of medical issues, but he was always did things around the military. So his first job right out of college was at Grumman Aerospace in New York. And he actually worked on the lunar landing module. And so he always did all this defense contracting throughout his entire career, all the way from working on the Apollo kind of programs, all the way through satellite things before he retired. And when I was in high school, I had an interest in aviation, and my dad fostered that. And so he helped me to find a flight school, and I actually had my private pilot's license while I was in high school. But that's because my dad fostered that. Yeah, and way back then, it wasn't really the thing for women to really pursue STEM type careers. But my dad really kind of lit that fire. So that's why I decided to pursue a career in STEM, and then also ROTC. So I kind of came from modest beginnings, and we didn't have a lot of money for college. So I pursued ROTC scholarships, and that's how I entered the Air Force.
All right. And you entered active duty Air Force then in 91. How long were you in active duty?
I just served for 4 years on active duty, but I knew I wasn't ready to hang up the uniform. So then that's when I transitioned to the Air Force Reserve.
Okay. And I know you're not going to say it's what I mean. So you have the Legion of Merit Award, Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal 5 times. Just throw that out there. Air Force Commendation Medal a couple of times. I mean, repeat performance. Joint Service Achievement Medal, Air Force Achievement Medal. You have done it all. You had your pilot's license. Did you fly any planes for us?
I didn't, and you can't see because it's a radio show, but I'm kind of short, and so I didn't meet the.
Well, you're also sitting. You can't see that from here either, and I'm watching on the Zoom. Right. So okay, you're sitting. All right. Really, there's a height requirement for pilots.
There is, and it was a little stricter back when I was rolling through, and so there's a sitting height requirement, and that's so that you can reach all the controls in the flight deck all around. And,
no, I get that, but we create billion-dollar aircraft, and we can't do adjustable seating. I'm sorry. It just seemed like that'd be like whoever makes the plane would throw that in, right? I mean,
and we do now.
Okay, good.
Okay, we did it. So no, I didn't fly while I was serving. But I did get to do, I think, the cooler job, which is get to work with aircraft maintenance folks and aircraft maintainers, civilian or military. I'll never stop being amazed because they use their hands to make airplanes fly, which is just unbelievable.
General, and I appreciate you saying that again. You are good at your job. No one believes that you think that's the more entertaining part, the building the planes, because Tom Cruise is not going to make a movie about how they built the plane. He's going to make the movie. You know what I'm saying? I God love you for saying it that way. we're not going to the theaters for that. But I appreciate what you've done. You're not done that thing. Now, you're on the program because Mr. Murray brought you on. He's with the Bravo Zulu House. What good news do we have? I'm under the impression you're joining the team.
Well, thanks. As a new board member, it was really easy to say yes and want to be involved with the program. I'll let Tim talk about, or I know that he has before on your show, about the Bravo Zulu Home for Men in Mankato that helps to service and provide a great home and fostering all the wraparound services for men veterans coming out of a treatment program with co-occurring PTSD. And we're really excited that we're about to start rolling on a women's home for doing exactly the same program, wraparound services for women coming out of treatment programs. Go ahead.
Can I ask how Tim, well, I will say trapped you, he'll say tapped you into this program. How did you know him, and how did this relationship get? I mean, you're not from, are you from Minnesota? Whereabout are you from? I didn't even start there.
So I grew up in New York. And then after my active duty service, I moved to Minnesota. My husband's a Minnesotan, and he served as well in the Army. But so we moved here in '96, and we've lived here since. And I actually met Tim earlier this fall through a mutual contact. And just so, our mutual friend heard my background and said, "Oh, I think I want to introduce you to Tim." Another part of my story that kind of helps compel me to want to help folks that are struggling or trying really hard to stay sober and to combat their PTSD is we had a family tragedy occur about 4.5 years ago. My youngest son was away at college and died by suicide.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible. Anybody who's been touched or been around folks who are struggling in any way know, and especially when you lose someone, whether it's through their addiction or through suicide or any other challenge that they're facing, it's devastating to your family.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm blessed with a strong faith, great family and community around me that help to keep us standing and drive on. If you're going to be on a hard road, it really helps to lean in and try to walk it well. And so part of that is for me to find purpose in helping people who have mental health challenges or resiliency challenges. And so that's why it just seemed so obvious that I should jump in and help fellow veterans who are working hard to stay sober.
I love that a ton. Mr. Murray, if you will, I mean, obviously there's some polls you have to go over to get on the board of your organization. I don't know, Bronze Stars, Legion of Merit, and all the rest with the general here. No class clowns getting in.
Well, we have one, which is me, and we're only allowed one. So I meet the quota. So I'm basically the token civilian and the token class clown, Al.
What happens when that drops in your lap?
Somebody tell you.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What happens when that drops in your lap? Someone says, "I know General Bonovich," and you're like, "Okay, another person." And you meet this young lady, and you find out who she really is. What happens in your head? I mean,
First,
I know you.
I just have to say thank you for the young thing.
I'm an old man. Not a problem. What happens to your head? You got to be like salivating, saying, "This is it. Put the statue up. Get her on the team."
Well, first of all, this is how God shows up in my life, which is if I do the right activities, the right things happen. If I chase those things, I never catch them. So by building productive relationships with our mutual friend, Jim, I get wonderful people referred to me. And if I hang out with wonderful people hang out with wonderful people. And the result then is people like Mo. And I have to tell you, Al, that we were about 5 minutes into meeting, and I was telling our legacy story about Colonel Father Martin Fleming when I noticed the Catholic medal around her neck, and I thought, I got her.
Thank you, God. That's fantastic.
Catholic guilt is very powerful.
Yes, yes. It's an unbeatable combination when I can smear both veteran and Catholic guilt on somebody. I don't have to do anything more, Al. I just take 2 steps back, and I let the guilt grip just grab them.
Actually true.
Yeah, he works in mysterious way. He and Tim both. I've got to go to break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the Bravo Zulu House, about the ladies' home. I want to talk a little bit about the day of radio that we're going to do. We'll do all of that coming up here in just a matter of moments. I've got General Bonovich and Tim Murray on the Al Travis Show.
Chanhassen Dinner Theatres proudly presents Guys and Dolls, packed with comedy, romance, dazzling dance numbers, and unforgettable characters. This Tony Award-winning Best Musical takes you from the gritty streets of New York to the colorful cafes of Havana. It's a high-rolling musical spectacular everyone will love. Don't wait. Visit chanhassendt.com and grab your tickets today. Guys and Dolls. Chanhassen Dinner Theatres, always entertaining you.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
Easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
And we've got him, General Benovich. Am I getting
Benovich, yeah.
Benovich on with us, as well as Tim Murray with Bravo Zulu House. She is now on the board. Two things I'm going to segue with, if I can. Last September, we did a thing for Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, a day of radio. I am asking you, General, we'll talk afterwards. We're doing that again in September. I was going to give you an invite to come on the program and talk. You get to decide. But what it does for us is it led me to the idea that we can do some things with this show, the gifts God's given us, in that we put it out to the 10 radio stations that run the Al Travis Show and asked them to spread the word, and 22 radio stations joined us in spreading that good word. I get a hold of Tim. Honestly, Tim took me golfing. And We discussed it, and in April we're going to do this for the Bravo Zulu House, a day of radio for them, and obviously I would love to have it if you could come on the program as well. We're going to work out I don't know the date in April yet. Tim, I'm excited about that. It's going to cover, obviously, the men's home, but I presume it'll have a lot of push towards the women's home where we're going. Give us an idea where we're at right now with the two houses, Tim.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Al. You've been such a wonderful. This has been, I think, now 2 years our relationship, and your willingness to help us create awareness starts people on this journey to eventually become a doer, a donor, or a door opener for us. So, thank you for your part in the mission to help save these veterans. So, the men's house is up and running. We are roughly half full.
Nice.
And our partnership with Mayo Clinic is working exceptionally well. The transformation of some of our men, there's been a wonderful series of articles that have made some of the local and NPR radio and local newspapers that are highlighting some of those successes. And they're just dramatic and wonderful and the types of things you'd hope to see that when these men's lives and very soon women's lives become transformed and they're unlocking the shackles of both addiction and PTSD, they really get to become the great men and great women that God intended them to be. And it's just a joy and a privilege to see that happen. Obviously, the success with the men's house compelled us to say we need to do this for women as well. And so we've selected a location. We're in the process of permitting that with the city in Mankato. And we are going back to our existing donors and finding new ones. And so we're in the process of identifying who wants to help build this wonderful house for women. This will be America's first all-military sober home for women veterans struggling with PTSD and addiction. And General Banovich can talk about some of the different methods and that the Women's Advisory Board. I'm doing something really radical, Al. You'll appreciate this. I have all women designing the all women's sober house.
Okay, so when it's all done, the men's home will be jealous of the look and the feel of the women's house. That's where you're going with?
If the men had feelings, yes.
General, what all do you think you bring to the mix that you can help with? Because you've seen these people. You know these people. These are the people you worked with. You went to war with.
I think so. Interestingly, women make up less than 20% of the military that currently serving, and but we are the largest growing demographic within the veteran community. So it just stands to reason that there is a need for underserved women in this population of veterans that have an addiction with co-occurring PTSD. So perfect time to do this house, and it's a proven model based off Trinity Sober Homes, and then now we've got the Bravo Zulu, as Tim mentioned, half full now with men that are just realizing the amazing benefit of that. So for the women's home, the board, before I got involved, but the advisory board's done fantastic research and work throughout the country looking at women's sober homes and taking best practices to make sure that we include those for the women's build. And so things like having your own bedroom and bathroom are important to women. Having gathering spaces within the house, different areas where you can sit and have conversations and things. That was also pretty important. And then lastly, a big difference is to be closer to town, like in Mankato, where people can go and do things out in the community and not super rural.
Let me throw out a couple things. We brought up the half-full men's house so far, and I'm thinking people are listening like, well, that doesn't sound like a success. You have to fit a pretty good criteria to get in. And tell me if I'm wrong here, Tim, when this thing is full, when you get the full capacity, it's self-sustaining at that point, right? This is not, if you donate your money, you're going to come back every year for the same thing and try to keep it going. Am I not mistaken that this will be a self-sustaining thing when you get all the guys in?
Yeah, so we are one of the few nonprofits, Al, in the country where we are self-sustaining in our mission. And what that means is that all of our men and women are going to be required to work or volunteer 30 hours a week. Even if their pension or their disability pay covers their rent, they're still required to volunteer. Okay. And so the residents will pay $600, $650 a month, which is modest, affordable but still is a contributing component to their mainstreaming back into society. And so those fees, and because we carry very little, if any, debt on these homes, the revenue we get from the rent more than pays for the operating expenses for the house. So once these houses are up and running, they're self-sustaining forever. That's the beauty of this model.
And the fact that it's got a proven track record to help these folks. It's one thing to keep it running, but it's going to help folks. I am out of time, and I'm sorry to hear that. We have not even brought up bravozuluhouse.org. bravozuluhouse.org. You can donate there, become part of Team Shield. You can take a look around at what they do. General Bonovig, thank you for saying yes, but in reality, I know, Tim, you couldn't say no, so you were forced into that, but thank you for doing this. I think you're going to do a lot for this lady's house. Thank you.
Thank you for all the awareness and for bringing us on the radio. Thank you.
And Tim, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll get you back on. We'll set the date for April, and we're going to make that thing fly. Fair enough?
Al, you are the best. Thank you for your support.
We'll be back after this with more on The Al Travis Show.